20 tips I wish I knew before I started playing Fate Trigger. These tips will be ranked from beginner to advanced, so let's get into it. First of all, we got some settings tips to go over. The first one will have to be hit indicator. Make sure to turn that on so you can tell where you're getting shot from. Next is vault trigger method. Make sure to turn that to forward and jump so you don't accidentally jump in the middle of a fight. Third, there is no fall damage in the game. That means that you're able to glide directly from the sky and onto the hot drop without opening your parachute. This gives you a faster time and window to shoot people from out of the sky compared to those who do open their parachute. You actually run a little bit faster if you have your weapon stowed. If you have a grenade or a skill out like Gira, you run roughly 5% faster, and that's going to be really useful when you're running from the zone or running for your life in any situations. Next tip is a trick with your backpack. If you right click on anything in your backpack, it will be automatically dropped on the ground. If you left click on any attachments, it will be put onto your weapon that you're holding. And if you right click on an attachment on your weapon, then it will be swapped to the other weapon. The sixth tip is to always use your headphones when you play. It's pretty common sense to use headphones when playing a shooter, but in Fate Trigger especially, because you're able to hear much further away than people who are just looking at their on-screen indicators. Grenades are a powerful tool that can be tricky to use sometimes, but Fate Trigger made it easy by showing you the trajectory as well as the position where the grenade is going to explode. Use this to your advantage and you should be winning more fights in your games. The next tip you probably won't have to use in the future, but as of this beta, you have to open up your map and click on this show vehicle button so that vehicles around you are shown on the map. It's really helpful to find cars or whatever when you're rotating into the zone. Alright guys, that concludes the beginner section of the tips. I do want to let you know that I found an extremely broken tip that will actually break the game if not fixed. I put it at the end of the video, so make sure to stick around till then. Right now, let's get into the intermediate section of the video. The first tip I got in the intermediate section is to use your scopes to your advantage. Scopes like the 4x and the 4AX will show the distance from you to the enemy. By knowing the distance, you should have an easier time hitting your opponents from far away by using the little markers on your scope. Gen Spheres. They're used to revive your dead teammates when they die a second time or they die after the free revive period is over. You can get them by going on top of your teammate's dead body within a certain time period since they died. What people don't know is that anyone on the team is able to spawn the teammate back in. It doesn't have to be the person who picked up the Gen Sphere. The next tip is also about reviving. Every time you respawn during your free respawn period, you will always have a vehicle in your backpack. This vehicle I normally keep and use all the way until endgame because it is so versatile. If you're in a pinch and you can't get out, or if you just need to rotate from the zone, you will always have a vehicle in your backpack. As a lurk style player, this comes in handy so much, and I cannot recommend it more. You should be able to find these ultimate accelerators relatively common in your matches. If you give it to the right person on a team, it can boost the whole team's fighting ability. A trick with the ultimate accelerator is that you don't have to open your backpack every time you want to use it. Instead, just press your ultimate button and the game will automatically use it for you. There is actually one more crucial setting you need to change before you hop in the game, and that is ADS autocorrection mode. If you are a veteran FPS player, you should know the importance of pre-aiming and crosshair placement. The ADS autocorrection mode, if I recall correctly, is defaulted to off. What does it do, you might ask? Well, this is with it off. And this is with it on. So yeah, make sure to turn ADS autocorrection to precision. And as for the correction distance, I personally will leave it at 4 because if you put it at 15, the crosshair placement at close range will get a little bit more funky. On the topic of settings, let's take a look at auto pickup. Auto pickup in the game is super great, but the default setting is kinda weird. The game defaults with a lot of healing, and I never needed to use this much healing ever. If I know I'm far from the zone, I'll take one extra slot of type 1 meds and that's about it. I think consistently having plentiful of utilities is way more important than that one time where you need that little extra amount of meds. The last tip in the intermediate section is to know your recoil pattern. There is no set pattern for each weapon, but each weapon will have a similar pattern. For example, the AK will always go up and then left, and the pulsar will always go up and then right. If you know your recoil pattern, you can control the weapon a lot better. That can lead to having better aim, thus winning more games. And that concludes the intermediate section. If you like my content so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I'll be posting more Fate Trigger related guides in the future. So the first tip in the advanced section you're actually able to know just by reading. But we know very well that FPS players don't read, so I did it for you guys. The gold attachments actually have an extra effect to them. The compensator eliminates the bullet trail, the suppressor reduces the horizontal recoil, the grip reduces bullet spread, and the stock increases the ADS speed and speed when ADS'd. All three different mags will automatically reload the gun when the gun is stowed away. And personally, I think the stock seems the most overpowered. That speed is just too insane. The next tip you might think doesn't apply to everyone, but I believe people should have the smoke grenade on a hotkey. Reason why I say this is that smokes are just way too important in this game. Whether you are getting an airdrop or reviving your teammate, a smoke will always come in handy. Even when you're in the middle of a fight, you can smoke behind you to deny flanks or smoke to rotate in the zone. It's a really powerful tool that I think players should be using more. The last tip even some players who's been playing for a while didn't know. It has to deal with the upgrade station. Next to all the upgrade stations, there is a triangular pole, and on that pole it will show exactly what is in the shop. Knowing this saves a lot of time, or even sometimes a lot of lives, because most stations are difficult to hold down. I'll be doing an in-depth guide on the upgrade stations, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Now finally, the trick I found by accident. I'll let the video do the talking. How you do this is you quickly uncrouch then crouch, and in the frames where you're uncrouched, you shoot your shot. Yeah, this is a little bit broken.